It's time to discuss the future of Alijah Vera-Tucker. This is a story, a show that I've wanted to do for some time. There's several pressing questions. Offensive tackle or offensive guard? The New York Jets, have to make a decision on his fifth-year option. What do they do there? How much is it? What are the details? Where does he actually play better, guard or tackle? We're going to get into all of that right now on the show. Let's roll, baby. Zoinks! But it is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Good morning, everybody. What's poppin'? My name is Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. Simply search for Boy Green Daily. We have a pressing Alijah Vera-Tucker question, actually several pressing questions, and I went to social media last night to my 17,000 flex on them, my 17,000 plus Twitter followers, 17,000 plus. I wanted to ask and get a couple of gauge, put the old temperature thermometer in the turkey to see what Jet fans thought of several pressing questions. Like I said, the Jets have to decide whether AVT is going to play guard or tackle permanently moving forward. Robert Saleh did say at his end of season press conference, they want to keep him at one position. They want to stop moving him around. So that's number one, guard or tackle. We'll get into that in a second. In early May, the Jets have to make a decision on the fifth-year option on Alijah Vera-Tucker's contract. I also put that up to a poll to hear what people had to say out there in the universe and whether it was an obvious answer or a not so obvious answer. And where, quite frankly, does Alijah Vera-Tucker play better anyway? So we're going to get into all that jazz right here on the program. All right, let's start off with this. Where would people prefer to see him play? Guard or tackle? And let's go to this. Here we go. Let's settle it, Jet fans. I sent out this poll last night on Twitter. Where do you want to see Alijah Vera-Tucker play on the offensive line in 2024? We have over 1,200 votes, and there's still 13 hours left in this poll, so it's not concluded by any means, but it gave us a good sample size for this show. 75% of those 1,200 people said offensive guard. 24.9% said offensive tackle. Jet fans want him to play guard. When Alijah Vera-Tucker was initially brought in here with the Jets, he was plugged in at left guard. He played in 16 of 17 games in his rookie season, again, at the left guard spot. Over the next 2 years, he played everywhere. Left tackle, right tackle. Specifically, when he went from his rookie season to his sophomore season, from 2021 to 2022, he went from left guard to right guard because Laken Tomlinson was signed to a 3-year, $40 million contract. So initially, he was flip-flopped on guard spots. Then, as injuries and other things happened, he started playing all over the place. And he jumped to left tackle, he jumped to right tackle. Obviously, he started at left guard, went to right guard. The only position he did not play was center. But the fact of the matter is there's been some injury issues for Alijah Vera-Tucker. And they are this. Again, he appeared in 16 of 17 games in his rookie season. In 2021, he tore his triceps. He missed 10 games. That happened, of course, in Denver. He was playing right tackle at the time. Let's go to this past season. Tears his Achilles against the Denver Broncos once again in Denver. Missed 12 games that season, which this season that just happened. He was also playing right tackle. Is there a correlation? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But Robert Saleh said at his end of season press conference that he believes that the moving around could be a factor in some of the injuries. Him being herky-jerky and left tackle, right guard, all over the place. Robert Saleh admitted that could play a factor into the injuries and things that have been plaguing him. So he has said that. So they want to get him to one position. Now, I'm not sure the Jets actually make a decision on this until everything plays down. What do I mean by that? We have free agency first. Then we have the draft. I think after the pieces settle, right? The Jets are going to pursue whoever the hell they're going to pursue in free agency. And they're going to acquire who they can acquire in the draft. And then after, they're like, what's the hole that's left? Oh, it's left tackle? Okay, we're throwing him over there. Oh, it's at guard? Okay, we're throwing him over there. So I don't believe we know the answer to that question right now. And I'm not even sure the Jets know the answer to that question right now. But I think it's an interesting gauge right now on the last day of January before we start getting things cooking, because it is an interesting question. So the fans want him at guard. That's where the fans want him. They want him back to the position he was drafted to play. And Robert Saleh, during press conferences, said he believes that AVT has all pro potential at guard, and he still thought he could be pretty good at tackle. I don't think he thought nearly as good. Now let's get to the other pressing question of this. Okay, so everyone wants him to play guard. Okay, solve that one. What about the fifth-year option? And I want to make this very clear. This is how the fifth-year options work. This is the over-the-cap projections. We don't know that number officially yet, but the Jets have to make a decision in early May. That option is worth $15.4 million fully guaranteed in 2025 if the Jets accept it. That is not funny money. That is a serious chunk of change that if the Jets accepted, it would be fully guaranteed. Now, I'm not leaning either way here. Okay, I'm just laying out the facts, and then we can all discuss it here. Okay? So what should the Jets do? Here's how it works. If the Jets accept the fifth-year option, that means that the Jets will have AVT under team control for 2024 and 2025. That means he won't be an unrestricted free agent until 2026. However, if the Jets decline the fifth-year option, that means this upcoming season of 2024 will be a contract year for Alijah Vera-Tucker. Let's see what the fans said. We put this once again up to a poll last night. And again, there's still time to vote. In this poll, there was 800 plus votes. Even more emphatic, 93.4% of the people said accept it, no doubt. 6% of the fans said decline it, injuries, in terms of the fifth-year option. And we got a response. Why is this even a question? So some fans thought it was idiotic that we even asked the question, while there's others in the poll responses on Twitter that said, let him go. And there's all kinds of varying responses to this. But some people were like, why is this even a question? Why is this a question? Well, we did the math. He's missed 22 games over the last 2 years. There's 34 games. He's missed 22 of 34 games over the last 2 seasons. When healthy, AVD is spectacular. He's been a key cog, arguably the best offensive lineman on the team. But there's been injuries, and the Jets have to make a business decision here. Now, the fans think, obviously, exercise the fifth-year option, and that's probably the correct move because the two pillars, as Joe Douglas called them at his end-of-season press conference, was Joe Tippmann and AVT. He said those are our pillars and future of the organization. So it makes sense with all the other crap that's happened on the offensive line to keep them. But yes, I echo Phil's thoughts here, who comments in on YouTube. What's up, Phil? Just don't play him in Denver, LOL. And I'm going to be honest. Even an AVT cracked this joke at his press conference, but the Jets play the Denver Broncos again this year. Some weird scheduling quirk, but this time it's at MetLife. I'm going to be honest, I still don't even want him to play in that game, just for the bad juju of it all, to be honest. Let's just, let's go back to rookie season. Again, he appeared in 16 to 17 games. Let's do 16 to 17 again. Let's do that. That'd be great for me. I'd appreciate that. So let's do that. I prefer just 16 to 17. Let's keep him away. Avatal here says, I'd be very leery based on that missed amount of time on exercise of the fifth-year option. And I go back and forth because I believe it's not a slam dunk. You have to think about the injuries. You have to. You'd be crazy not to. but at the same time, he's been spectacular. So there's a lot to factor in. Good question here from Sergeant CVO. I also got this question on Twitter, so I will address it here. Yes, technically speaking, the Jets can give him a contract. Here's how it works. When you play 3 years or have 3 years of service time, you are then eligible to discuss a contract extension. That works regardless of whether you are a first-round pick, a second-round pick, or what have you. So, yes, technically speaking, the Jets could do that. Now, interesting, here is maybe somewhere to look. For instance, the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, instead of accepting the fifth-year option, they worked on a mini alteration of the contract. So they kind of, I think, gave him a little more, but wiped it away and did some other stuff. Let me pull up Jordan Love's contract just to see, because I remember that happening last offseason when they had to make a decision on his fifth-year contract. So let me see on Spot Trek here real quick. What was the adjustment there? Let's see here. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that so weird, but yeah, Jordan Love contract. Yeah, let me try to get that. I know we're doing this live on the show. Let's let's see. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so it's hard to tell here on Over the Cap. But anywho, they did rework his contract because, again, he had been sitting on the bench for 3 years, which is basically the same thing. So Jordan Love, from that perspective, did have a contract alteration. So I can't find those details right now. Spot Trek's being weird. But anywho, yes, the Jets can give him a contract if they want. They can either rework the fifth-year option or they could give him an extension. They can do whatever the hell they want. That is all available on the board. I don't know if they do that, and here's why. The Jets have a lot of guys that they have to figure out right now, like Bryce Huff, Michael Carter II, and DJ Reed are heading into the last years of their deals. So those are guys you absolutely have to figure out now. They could give him a contract now, but I think some people would say, why now? So they could, but I'm not sure if they do. Now, let's go to this. Again, I told you about the missed games. The fans want him at guard, and the fans want the Jets to accept the fifth-year option based on the data we were able to collect over the last 12 hours or so. That's what the fans said. Okay? Now I go to the experts, old Rivka Board and Joe Blewett of Jets X Factor. I was reading their article. I read this back a couple weeks ago when it came out, but I was also rereading it today. And I was looking through this, and it seems like the Jets' X Factor take is that he should stay at guard. Because they being Joe Blewett and Rivka Board, wrote the article that they analyzed Vera-Tucker playing both guard and tackle, because you can look at that in 2022 because he played both. And Blewett explained that, quote, Vera-Tucker's all-pro ceiling is only at guard. In fact, while Vera-Tucker is an adequate tackle, he is nowhere near the potential as either a run or pass blocker at the position. While Vera-Tucker played both tackle and guard in college, his NFL position was considered to be guard primarily because of his short arms, 32 and 1/4 inch arms. Interestingly, though, raw passing game statistics seem to indicate that Vera-Tucker is a better pass blocker at tackle. And then you guys can read the full piece there as well. So basically the take is ABT is a better guard than tackle. That's basically what the Jets have said. But here is the other complicating factor in this puzzle. In theory, it's easier to find guards than tackles. And with the Jets having both of their starting tackles from week one free agents in Mekhi Becton and Dwayne Brown, it may be very alluring to the New York Jets to just kick ABT out to one of the tackle spots, and it makes your plan a little bit easier. When you have to replace both starting tackles plus depth options, that's a very, very big thing to try to evaluate at a single offseason. Is it possible? Sure. In theory, the Jets could do this. They could sound like a Tyron Smith. We have a big offensive tackle episode yesterday for Boar Green Beats Woody. It's on the YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. I made a strong pitch why I believe the Jets should sign Tyron Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. You plug and play him at left tackle. Then, in the draft, in my estimation, you could get like a Fuaga or insert your guy at right tackle, because I wanted to keep ABT at guard. So you put like a Tyron Smith at left tackle, you draft whoever you're going to trade back, whatever, get Fuaga, and then you can have Tyron Smith left tackle, Fuaga right tackle, ABT guard. I think you're keeping Lakin at guard because if you cut him, you have to replace him. and then you have a center. So if you do it in that way, you keep AVT where he's supposed to be, and then you have the tackles. But another combination, again, you can kind of rework it any way that you want to. The fact of the matter is, I think it would be great to keep AVT at guard. That's where we've seen him healthy. Again, I don't know if there's a great correlation to any of that, but that part is a tough piece of the puzzle. So we will see. Yeah, because the other poll, and again, we will talk about this on the next Boy Green Mutuality that's coming up on Thursday at 3:00. Yeah, where was my 3? Yeah, let me go down here on the old Twitter machine to grab that poll. Here it is. So my 3 that I pitched was Olu Fashanu at left tackle. So left guard would be Laken Tomlinson. These aren't all out there. It only has our 3 additions, but I'll read you my full starting 5 in my mind. Olu Fashanu left tackle, Laken Tomlinson left guard, Joe Tippmann center, AVT right guard, Michael Onwenu, the former New England Patriot right tackle, and then your extra tackle is David Bakhtiari. I think he's coming, and I think he's coming for dirt cheap. I think he wants to join the Aaron Rodgers group, and he wants to be that extra guy in the group. So that would be my 5. Again, Olu Fashanu, I think he's going to be plug-and-play left tackle. You have Laken Tomlinson, who, again, everyone wants to get rid of him, but not everyone doesn't have a replacement plan. Joe Tippmann, keep him at center. AVT at right guard, phenomenal. And then right tackle, you have Michael Onwenu, who could play all over the place. And then, like I said, the extra lineman's David Bakhtiari, who you got for dirt cheap. And you still have Carter Warren and Max Mitchell and a couple other options for depth. That's where I'm standing. And Bakhtiari, you don't have to rely on him as a starter in my scenario, and I think he'll come for dirt cheap based on all the extra years of injury. So that's where I'm leaning. All right, let's get to some of your comments, guys. All right, let me see here. Okay. Nick Russo says, AVT came into the NFL as a guard and should stay there. The thing is, to be honest with you, even if this regime picks either spot and says it's permanent, I do not believe they will follow through. Yeah, I don't believe it either because of the George Fant stuff. Saleh said something to this effect. I don't have the exact quote, but like their blessing is their curse, that they can play multiple positions and they're tantalized by that, you know. Although Saleh would have to answer for it if all of a sudden they switched up, we'd say like, well, Saleh, you said before that you wanted to keep him at one position. I wonder what he would say to that. Phil says the same thing that I kind of assessed. It comes down to where the offensive line chips fall and see where we need him, but I prefer him to stay at the guard spot, as do I. Vital, put AVT at guard and call it a day. Don't force him to play tackle when this GM in 4 drafts couldn't produce one viable starting tackle. Now, I would imagine, I don't know, AVT didn't reveal his cards during his end of season press conference. He said he doesn't care either way. Now, financially speaking, it behooves him to play offensive tackle. They get paid more money. I did an analysis on this a year or 2 ago. And basically, the averaged out money difference between the top 5 left tackles to the top 5 right tackles, and this data is like a year or 2 old, but it was about a $5 million difference between the averages of, again, top 5 left tackles to top 5 right tackles. So you get even more money on the left side, but even assessing it even greater than that, when you go to tackle to guard, I mean, it's a significant difference. So maybe if AVT and his agent are looking for the moolah, they may want to kick to offensive tackle. But again, I don't know. Maybe he wants to stay at guard from the injuries. It's up in the air. I think I need to see AVT healthy first. Yes, I'm all aboard. Please, for the love of everything that's holy. Cole on our Facebook page says, 5th year option's tough, but I think you do it. Me too. I think you have to do it, to be honest. I think you have to do it. I don't think you have a choice. Based on all the other, like, what else do the Jets have? So I would exercise the 5th year option because you aren't going to get to see him play before that. So you will make that decision in May, and then you have him under team control for 2024 and 2025. Think about this. If you decline the option, then here are the 3 guys minimum who will be a free agent. I haven't assessed the rest of the free agents for next offseason. AVT, GJ Reed, Michael Carter II. You only have 1 franchise tag, folks. You don't want to be effed. So I would exercise the 5th year option to make sure they're all not falling on the same year, because all the other guys will be. Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson. Think about this, okay? after this upcoming season, you want to know who's eligible for contract extensions? Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall. Jesus. So hopefully the Jets and Joe Douglas are figuring out their financials. All of those guys will finish out their third years coming up this season. And think about this. After Breece Hall finishes up this upcoming season in 2024, he has 1 year left on his rookie deal. Crazy, unbelievable. But it's true. It's true. So after the third years, players are eligible for contract extensions. So, oh boy, we got a lot of big time decisions to make. So hopefully Joe Douglas is pinching his pennies for the future to make sure we get that. Let's keep going here. Cole, I think you're right on the Jordan Love thing. For whatever reason, I couldn't find it live. I should have had that prepared. I didn't know that question was coming, but I should have. Yeah, it's all messed up on that. Yeah, Mitch says Love was due $2.5 million in 2023 and 2024. Yeah, they basically split it. Yeah, because he was due more than that because he was supposed to have the fifth year option. But yeah, that's interesting. He didn't meet any of the playing time incentives, which helped them. Shadow Realm. AVT is still elite. Can't say his two unlucky injuries make him injury prone. Yeah, I mean, so if you look at it from this way, 2 of his 3 years in the league were injuries. Some people will slap the injury prone tag on him. Others, when you think of a torn triceps, that's a very weird, fluky injury for an offensive lineman. So that's bizarre. And then a torn Achilles, anyone can tear their Achilles really doing anything. If it was like, some of my Kai Becton and ACL, maybe there's something there, or dislocated kneecap, or godforsaken everything he's had. Yeah, some people will label him, a injury prone, but hey, to each their own, I suppose. Avatar, trade DJ Reed. What the hell? Trade DJ Reed to Detroit. Ask for pick 29. Accept pick 61 in a future for. Ugh. I know there was some who pitched this. I think it was Will Parkinson to Zach Rosenblatt on TOJ Talks of the potential of trading one of Reed or Carter, and then I think it was Reed because of the money savings. Trade Reed and then just promote Brandon Echols, and then you rock with those 3. You save the money and then get whatever assets you could get. So, it's a creative way to do it because both players are about to be due contract extensions. And if you believe Echols can step up, but boy, I really love DJ Reed. I hope they extend him instead, and that can lower his cap number. But the Jets would be interested in finding creative ways to add assets, I would imagine, and that would be one way to do it. How many games has Tyron missed? Let me put it this way. He has not played a full season since the Jets had a winning record. That was 2015. So it's been a while. That's fair. And it is what it is. I admitted that and explained that on the Boy Green Meets Woody show yesterday. So he's missed a lot of games, but he's still playing at an elite level. He's only 33. And while some people may say that's old, I have a different view of old after Dwayne Brown's been here the last 2 years. So I feel a little bit differently about that. But Tyron has missed a ton of games. When he's been on the field, he's been elite, absolutely elite. And that includes this past season. So, again, any free agent's going to have warts and bugaboos. I'm fine with his. Cole says, re-sign Becton. I know many won't like it, but you guys can find Becton size. He played every game last year. You can't find guys like Becton size. So I just take a big swing at the other tackle. I don't know if I'd bring him back as a guaranteed starter, but you could bring him in this competition because here's, as I explained on the show yesterday, again, I hope you guys check out the offensive tackle episode. The fact of the matter is, I believe Becton is going to go into the marketplace, and everyone's going to tell him the same thing in my mind. 1 year prove-it deal. And if he gets that everywhere, why not come back to the Jets? Basically is my take. There may be a team crazy enough with his age and everything else. PFF had him as one of the top 5 tackles available, and offensive tackles are sparse, so maybe he will get one of those juicy 3-4 year, $30, $40, $50 million deals. Maybe. You never know, I guess, in free agency. But if all of them are 1 year prove-its, I think there's a chance. Avatar. He said exactly what I said. Elevate Eccles, but honestly, I expect Reed to ask for the moon for cornerback 2. Easier to find a replacement there and use the picks to fill a hole at wide receiver, offense guard, or nose tackle. Yeah, he will because he took a discount. Think about it. He got an $11 million per year evaluation, 3 year, $33 million, and look where he's at now. So we'll see how much he asked for. I'm not sure. Okay. Cole, I'm aware Bakhtiari still under contract. I fully expect him to be released. I've talked to several Packers people, and that is the expectation. So that is that on Bakhtiari. So I fully expect him to get cut from what I've been told. But we'll see if I'm right. If I'm talking to the right Packers people, I expect him to be cut. And then I think everyone will steer clear because of all the injuries. And thus Aaron Rodgers, swoops in. That's my estimation. Let's see. Any other final comments here before we finish off Boy Green Daily? See him in Denver if he gets cut. Okay. Let's see. I want Fuaga McConkey. Okay. All right. I like those. That's very nice. Have a great day, everybody. Okay. Here's my final thought here, everybody. Tomorrow on the show, Dom C live from the Senior Bowl will be joining us for Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning, live down there from Mobile, Alabama. For all there's 65 plus people in here right now watching live. And if you're watching live or after the fact, do me a favor on my YouTube community channel. Okay. It's on my YouTube page. Go over to the community tab and you'll see it's the first post. Submit a question right now for Dom C, whether you want to learn more about a prospect. Rich Cimini had some intriguing stuff on Fuaga and how the Jets have a quote-unquote affinity for him, and they've been looking at him for months. You can ask questions of that nature. Just click the mailbag link and submit your questions. We'd love a lot of questions for Dom C tomorrow. Again, he's live down there in Mobile. If you guys have questions about prospects, Jets draft scenarios, or anything Senior Bowl related, make sure you click that link and submit a question for us. The more interaction you can give us, the more successful the show can be. This is a new test for me and Dom C this offseason. The more questions we get, the more interactions we get from you guys, the more we're like, oh, okay, the people like what they're seeing. We're going to keep doing this moving forward. So I'd love to keep doing the show with Dom C, but it requires you, the people that are watching at home. He normally joins us every Monday for a Mock Draft Monday. We did not have him on Monday because he's down at the Senior Bowl. So we will have, again, Dom C tomorrow morning at 7:30. So don't waste any time. If you got a few minutes right now, go on over, again, to the YouTube community tab. Click the form link and submit your questions right here, right now. Make sure that you do that and support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Also, like the video, hit subscribe. We're well over 6,000 subs. Thanks to each and every one of you for that. I'm very much looking forward to talking to Dom C down there in Senior Bowl, getting all the juicy deets. Jeff Ulbricht's down there. Jets assistants coaches are down there, and a lot of opportunities for the Jets to add some young prime talent. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. God bless, baby. We got Dom C tomorrow, live from the Senior Bowl. We'll have Italy on Friday, Hop on Pop, my father on Saturday, Sunday, Ty, gosh darn Butler, and Dom C will join us again on Monday for Mock Draft Monday after he flies back from Mobile, Alabama. We're looking forward to it, baby. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Peace.